Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today is a big day for the community. Wargaming have finally changed their stance on cheating in World of Tanks. It looks like Wargaming are finally listening to how passionate the community is that they want a fair playing field in World of Tanks. This video is going to document exactly what modifications are going to be illegal and the penalties that you face for using them. But firstly, let's take a look at my specific feedback that I published in a video towards the end of March earlier this year, a video that has become one of the most popular on the channel, cheating in World of Tanks. Because Wargaming's modification policy is not exactly crystal clear, I think there are many players, such as we've seen in this replay, that are using these modifications thinking they're completely legitimate and then probably surprised if they get themselves banned. And so I hope that Wargaming take a harsh stance on players that use these kind of modifications and develop their detection systems to track down cheaters and take them out of the World of Tanks community, while at the same time educate the players about what is right and what is wrong, which was really one of the key goals to this video. So my four main points were that Wargaming's policy was not crystal clear, that they were not taking a harsh stance on those that use illegal modifications, that at least it didn't feel like their detection systems were automatically banning cheaters and we were seeing them pop up on what replay websites, and finally that they really needed to take steps in educating the players as to what modifications are okay to use in the game and which ones are likely to get you banned. So firstly, Wargaming set the tone for this policy. They say that they've been listening to our feedback, they explained that fair play is important, that apparently modifications disturb this fair play and makes players feel like they're being cheated. Next, they say they have been quietly taking actions to defeat certain cheat mods over the past several months. And even they admit that they haven't set us straight on the list of modifications that they view as cheats and their reasoning behind it. Nor have they been consistent, as they should, in addressing instances of cheating. And so their actions will be that they will continue to expand their anti-cheating technology solutions to be able to hopefully find cheaters easier and faster and get them out the game. And also that this article will finally give us a clear list of illegal mods, and that in the future they're going to be keeping an eye out for new mods and update the list accordingly. And that finally they're going to establish a clear penalty system and it is uniform across all regions. That gets a massive thumbs up from me. So firstly, let's take a look at the modifications that will be penalized. So I've taken these points and I've made them clearer, but I definitely recommend checking out the worldoftanks.eu and the worldoftanks.com website if you want to see them word for word. Firstly, marking objects destroyed on the map, which will certainly make a lot of you Stronghold and Clan Wars players out there rejoice. Basically what this means is that if you knock over a tree on a minimap, this modification would show you which tree was knocked down in real time. So for example, are you playing on Malinovka and the entirety of the enemy team are trying to sneak their way through the forest to get towards the hill, but they're knocking down lots of trees along the way, or even breaking crates, I believe. And so effectively this modification told you where the enemy was in real time without actually seeing the tree fall on your map and then being able to pinpoint exactly where the tank could be. Next up, modifications that alter the game's tracers to be able to pinpoint firing location are also illegal. Now we all know in patch 9.16 the Wargaming added in the directional fire indicator at the top of your screen, but a modification like this would literally pinpoint where they were and the elevation that they were as well. Next, any modification that calculates enemy self-propelled gun positions with tracers and marking them on the map exactly where they fired from is going to be illegal. There are also modifications that show lasers coming out of the barrels of the enemy tanks, which effectively show where that player is aiming in real time. Next up, any modification that shows you the reload timers of the enemy team will now get you banned. And also finally, the modification that I showcased in my cheating in World of Tanks video, which was an aimbot effectively giving lead to the enemy, will be a bannable fence. Also the ones that aim at weak points of the enemy tanks automatically for you will get you banned. Next, any software that enables automatic use of non-premium consumables such as a fire extinguisher is a bannable offense, as well as mods that adjust the transparency of objects in the game. For example, do you want to make the rock see-through so you can see exactly what the enemy is doing behind it? Next up, software that leaves ghosts of enemy tanks in their last known spotting locations will get you in trouble. And finally, any modifications, and this one was a new one for me, that changed the game's parameters or vehicle performance statistics obviously is going to get you banned. And so I strongly recommend, if you are using any modifications that do any or all of these things, that you remove them immediately, because the consequences are going to be severe. The first time Wargaming detect that you are using a modification like this, you are going to have your account suspended for 7 days. And if you don't learn your lesson and you're caught using modifications such as this again, then your account is going to be banned permanently. No ifs, no buts. I guess you're just not going to be playing World of Tanks, at least on that account, anymore. And at least in my opinion, hats off to Wargaming for this 2-strike policy. Firstly, you might not know about the modifications being illegal, right? There are going to be some of you out there, and I'm sure you're going to learn from your mistake if your account is suspended for 7 days, and hopefully in the email it'll tell you to not be using illegal modifications. And then to remove repeat offenders who have not learned their lesson from the player pool completely, at least in my opinion, is a great choice. And so there you have it, Wargaming's fair play policy, and you know what, I think they've pretty much checked all of my feedback. At least in my opinion, it is now crystal clear they are taking a harsh stance on people who use illegal modifications. It looks like they've certainly developed detection systems and they've been implementing them quietly, and they've also taken steps to educate the World of Tanks player base. So I can't really think of a better way for them to have implemented this. But I'm interested in what you think. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below if you think this is a good policy or if it's a bad policy. Do you think Wargaming has missed anything? Do you think they could have made it more clear cut? And I'll even put a poll up in the top right hand corner of your screen. I'm sorry Americans to do this to you on election day, where you can vote whether you think Wargaming has done it right or do you think they've missed the plot a little bit. And if you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel out. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.